welcome to CNBC-TV18.com presents Bharat Trailblazers in association with Salesforce, a series of insightful discussions that highlight businesses that have surmounted difficulties and setbacks by utilizing cutting-edge solutions and digital technologies. Today, our focus is on the food and beverage industry, an industry that has witnessed phenomenal growth in recent years. Restaurants must adapt to the latest food technology and marketing strategies to stay competitive, boost sales and effectively manage orders from multiple delivery platforms. Restaurant owners are always on the lookout for new tech-powered tools to manage orders, inventory and menus, while also effectively utilizing customer data for personalized offers to enhance customer engagement. Now, this is where UrbanPiper comes in, bringing method to the madness. So let us find out more about this B2B company and its unique offerings in this discussion, where I'm joined with Ashish Saxena, the Senior Vice President at UrbanPiper. Ashish, welcome to the show. And I believe in less than a decade, UrbanPiper has, captured close to 30% of the market share. So first, tell us what pain point UrbanPiper is solving, about the company, the business model, and the key milestones in your journey.
Right. So thank you so much for having me, and I couldn't have said it any better, right? I think the challenges that the restaurant industry faces in today's world around managing these online channels, and that's precisely what we solve for. The company started about 10 years back, like you said, and we started first with a product which was to enable online ordering through branded white-labeled websites of the brands themselves. And then and then Zomato and Swiggy happened in India. And at that time, there were Tiny Owl, Food Panda, a lot of other players. But the challenge that the restaurant industry faced at that time was, if you are present on multiple of these online channels, how do you manage the orders coming in from these so many different places, right? So you need to be talking to one system where all these orders can land, and you can manage the orders there, you can manage your menus there. So that's the solution that we built over the last 10 years, and we've pretty much worked with every large brand in India today, thankfully, touch wood. So be it McDonald's, Pizza Hut, Kyo Foods, Wow Momo, some of the largest names in the food business today trust us to enable their online delivery channels. And we also have our own billing and entire restaurant tax solution, which is basically enabling restaurants to have dine-in orders as well, manage their inventory and manage their menus seamlessly across both dine-in and their online channels.
Absolutely. We delve deeper into what you just said, the offerings that you just mentioned a little later. But, if there is an industry that's, seen exponential growth during COVID or post-COVID, it is the food online delivery industry. Swiggy it or Zomato, that has become a part of our normal day conversations. But, in order for Swiggy and Zomato to do their jobs, efficiently, it is very crucial that restaurants that, they're getting the delivery from are providing smooth experiences. So tell us how UrbanPiper is allowing this, what challenges restaurants are facing currently, and how are you solving them in order to make this whole industry provide a smooth experience for customers?
Right. I think, and that this whole shift to delivery started much before COVID. Obviously, it got a lot accelerated during that time because of the whole no contact approach that restaurants had. But imagine a brand which has been only doing dine-in and catering to customers as they walk in. Their entire DNA is geared towards that. And now suddenly you have to put your menu online, manage riders or delivery couriers.
Absolutely. We're in a world where we are eating out less, but ordering more in. So absolutely.
Yeah. And the reason for that is very simple, right? Time is such a precious commodity. You want to save that time for your family, for your hobbies, and so you don't want to go out and have, and therefore you're ordering in. But the challenge that the restaurant industry faces is that pivot from being very dine-in, where they can see, touch, feel the customer, to a world where they do not know who the customer is. They just get the order and they have to service it, right? And they have to service it in a manner that the customer gets it hot and fast. So we are the layer that helps them do that, right? Accept the order fast, get the food out ready, make sure that it's handed to the right courier with the right order items that have been placed, with the right modifiers that have been placed. So it's like, from the outside, it seems very simple. Hey, an order has come and it's serviced. But at the back end of the kitchen, there's like too much complexity that goes around. And if you don't have a solution like ours to help you with it, you will end up with wrong orders, delayed orders, And then that customer sitting at home is unhappy because they were supposed to get it in 30 minutes. Now they're getting it in 1 hour. They're getting different items than they ordered. So all of that.
Yeah, you know, Ashish, you're working with what, over 35,000 restaurants today. You've got offices in Bengaluru, Dubai, Riyadh, and London. You know, you touched upon this, and if you could elaborate further, because like you rightly said, all these restaurants had to pivot. So not just you're helping them getting orders online, but also managing walk-in customers and providing those fine dining experiences. So if you can give us use cases and explain as to how UrbanPiper really helps them.
Right. So firstly, I think on the international side, we've got US on the map as well now. So
Oh,
we
okay.
are present in the US market. We acquired a large business there called Automark. And by virtue of that, we are servicing about 6,000 restaurants there today.
Okay.
I hope to grow more. But yeah, coming back to the experience doesn't end at delivery, right? I think we are striving to build a restaurant stack which is omni-channel and services, makes the life of the restaurateur easy, right? And I've been a restaurateur myself. I used to run a restaurant chain. And I understand the challenges that every day the restaurateur has to go to. It is a 24/7 business, and anything that can go wrong does go wrong. And therefore, you need a solution which solves your daily problems in a very seamless manner. One thing that has not been has not been the focus for restaurants so far, but is now coming more and more to the fray, is identifying the customer uniquely and be able to tailor offers and campaigns, marketing campaigns to that individual.
Yeah.
Right? Today, that's very difficult, but we have solutions which can enable the customer who walks into the restaurant to be uniquely identified, and the same can then be propagated for a campaign where if you, let's say you haven't visited a restaurant for 60 days and I want to reach out and say, hey, we are missing you, we haven't had you for a while. And I can send you a coupon and say, hey, why don't you come back and we'd love to, give you a discount or a freebie for that, right? So that's what we do.
So this brings me to my next question. You work in a landscape which is very complex. You're working with restaurant chains, multiple outlets. Let's talk about sales. How is your sales team engaging with restaurants on ground? How are you onboarding them? Talk to us about that.
We use a tool called Salesforce. I'm sure everybody knows about Salesforce, right?
Yeah.
So it helps us manage all our leads coming in from different channels like our websites, our referral partners, from our sales team when they do any kind of outbound calling or field visits, manage all of that into one system, and helps us keep track of the conversations along the journey with that restaurateur.
Okay.
So the sale process is not I met you and I closed it, but it's a multi-stage process. We have to first establish value, go show a demo. Once the demo is done, there is some negotiation that always happens on the pricing, and then you are able to close the contract. So Salesforce has enabled us to kind of map this journey of our process in a very, very seamless manner. It helps us to manage all the leads there as well.
All right. What about the complexities related to deployment, project management, and then, of course, billing? How is technology helping you, solve these challenges?
Right. I think as a company, right, we are a tech company, so we believe in using tech solutions for everything. And therefore, we actually are one of maybe the few companies which have the integrated stack on all of the things that you mentioned on Salesforce. So once a sale is made, we hand over that project to our onboarding team, which does the deployment, does the configuration, so take the menu, put the menu, locations, restaurant timings, all of that. And we train the merchant to be able to do those changes themselves. Post that, all the billing is seamlessly done on Salesforce as well. So every time there is a renewal due, there is an invoice that is going out from Salesforce to the merchant, they pay it, it gets auto-renewed, and the system keeps working smoothly. So that integration of these modules has helped us having one single view of the customer, rather than having 3 or 4 disparate systems who don't talk to each other or who talk through Google Sheets or Excels.
Can you take us through some of the key metrics to understand the impact of your digital transformation journey?
Right. So, like I mentioned, Salesforce, has been a backbone for our sales journey, and typically sales organizations look at what is the close one revenue, or what's the sale looking like today. We have a slightly different approach where we focus more on the input metrics. And I mentioned that sales journey in a market like India or even anywhere in the world is long in a restaurant industry, right? So if you were not focusing on the input metrics, the output metrics of revenue will not happen. So we've broken that down into a lot of steps, like how many merchants is the seller reaching out to, what kind of an engagement is happening, how many demos are happening, and what kind of. So we've got a model where it is very input metrics focused, and Salesforce has been a great partner to enable us to have drill down metrics on all of those, right? We've seen, almost from where we started the journey about 1.5 years back, I think with Salesforce, we were at like having 10% activity metrics to now almost 80-90% for all of our sales teams.
Okay.
Because what gets measured gets done, right? It's every day I'm asking, hey, how many calls did you make, or how many demos did you do? That's what the team focuses on, and that's what gets us the closure, because we know our product is good. So if you're able to show it to a customer, there is very good chance that they'll actually buy it. So yeah, so it's, on the sales side, but similarly on the onboarding side, there is how much time did you invest in taking the merchant live, and we want to keep compressing that. So we've gone from a state where we were 20-25 days to almost 3 days now, where we can take a merchant live in 3 days. We just did a big migration for frozen bottle where there's 70 outlets went live within like 2 to 3 days of each. We're doing a rollout for Ferns and Petals, which is 120. Over the last 15 days, we've been able to take almost 40-50 of them live. So that's because of this efficiency, which the system has been able to also help us, track those individual activity metrics in the system.
All right. Let's talk about your partner, Salesforce. What is the key takeaway from this partnership? How has Salesforce helped you drive innovation to achieve more efficiency or to foster customer loyalty?
Right. So I think the first step, like I mentioned, is the sale process, and Salesforce is pretty much best at that. But personally, what I love about the system is everything works, right? Very rare.
Very important.
Correct. So very rarely, there is platforms where if there is a link and you click on it, you get the detail that you want, right? And here, as head of the business, it's very important for me to have a very bird's eye view of what's happening within my team in terms of the sales process, the onboarding process, the billing process, but to also be able to go down right to the merchant level and see what happened with that merchant, with their support tickets or cases that they raised and how they were resolved. So if there is an escalation which is directly to me, I need to be able to go and see that.
Absolutely.
Salesforce allows me to be able to do that. I do my weekly reviews using reports which are at a 30,000 feet level, and then I'm able to go down right to the merchant who has a problem and how do you know what happened there and what was the history, and if it's a fault at our end, who is the person who was responsible for that, and take corrective action. So,
all right, before we let you go, take us through your expansion and growth plans. If you can share some of the future growth targets at UrbanPiper.
Right. So India remains a very key geography for us. We continue to expand. I mentioned we've got a new product which is Prime. It's been there for about 3 years now, and we've got about 3,000 merchants already using for the dine-in billing services. But so India continues to be a growth market for us. Middle East region has been very, very good in helping us, grow there, and we've got a stellar team. So there we are growing very, very rapidly. UK market is something which we launched about 1.5 years back, and that's been, we've got Pizza Hut servicing there, and we've got a few other large merchants there. And lastly, US, like I mentioned, June we acquired Automark, and we're in the stage of figuring out our GTM there, and getting the model UrbanPiper product out there in the market. But so these kind of remain our focus areas. We've grown like 4-5x in the last 1.5 years. We continue to hopefully keep doing that.
Ashish, it was an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for your wonderful insights and learnings. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you so much for having me.